Mr. Teeple, right? Okay. Okay, this is in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Dane David Teeple, file number 24-21774FH. All right, so Mr. Teeple is represented by Ron Underwood. So, Mr. Teeple, did you get a chance to read and review your pre-sentence report?
Yes,
did you get a chance to discuss that with your attorney?
yes,
Are you satisfied with Ms. Underwood as your attorney and the advice that she's given you?
yes,
Ms. Underwood, do you wish to explain or challenge the accuracy or relevancy of any information in the pre-sentence report?
I do not believe we do. Your Honor.
Okay. Does the pre-sentence report disclose any prior convictions in which there exists any known constitutional defect?
It does not, Your Honor.
Probation Department has computed the minimum sentencing guidelines to be 5 to 17 months. Do you agree with that computation of guidelines?
We would agree with that computation, Your Honor.
And there is a COBS agreement to sentencing at the low end of the guidelines. So, and he pled to an attempted. So, Ms. Underwood, is there anything you'd like to say on behalf of Mr. Teeple before the court passes a sentence?
Mr. Teeple understands the gravity of what he did. He understands that he can't do that if he wants to get out of prison. And I believe he does. So we would ask the court to comply with the COBS agreement, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Teeple, is there anything you want to say on your own behalf? Well, in determining the appropriate sentence in this case, the court has considered the seriousness of the offense, your history, the principle of proportionality, the statutory penalty, the cost of confinement, the sentencing guidelines, the report and recommendation of the probation department, as well as what has been said upon the record at this hearing. The criteria and reasons for the sentence are the nature and gravity of the offense, the discipline appropriate to its commission, deterrence against repetition by you and by others, the potential for reformation, vindication for the law, and the protection of society. It is a sentence of the court that you will serve 2.5 years, so 24, 30 months. So you will serve 5 to 30 months with the Michigan Department of Corrections. There is a $68 state cost and $130 crime victim rights fee. Okay, I see the paperwork I gave you. Because you're incarcerated, you don't get credit for time served, right? Oh, is that yeah? You understand that? Okay. So you do have the right to appeal this sentence. So in a minute, my bailiff's going to hand down to you 3 copies of your notice of yes.
We need to address consecutive sentencing also.
Oh, it is consecutive. Again, it is consecutive to whatever time you're serving now. So just pull that top sheet out. Yep. So I'm going to have you initial and date this top copy, and that goes in my file to acknowledge that you received your paperwork for the appellate process. If you wish to appeal your sentence, you would fill out the information on the form and mail it to the address listed on the form within 42 days. Okay. All right, you're all set. I wish you the best of luck. Thank you. Record should reflect I received back the signed copy of the notice of right to appellate review. All right, Ms. Underwood, I see Ms. Wagner's back. Do you want to break out room with Ms. Carver? She's not here. She's on Zoom.
Yeah, I would like to break out with Ms. Carver.
All right, so why don't you go in back and to your device and I'll let you in. And then I'll send a request to join the breakout room, all right?
Thanks.
You're welcome. Ms. Carver, in just a moment, I'm going to open up a breakout room for you to go talk to your client or for you to talk to your attorney.
Okay.
Mr. Moore on Mr. Arasco? Is
Yes.
that, okay, I'm opening that breakout room. Go ahead and join that breakout room. It appears Mr. Arasco is in the Washtenaw County Jail.
Okay.
So what I'm probably going to do when Miss Underwood gets here is issue a bench warrant just so they bop them over to me when they're done with them.
Okay. Sounds good.
Judge, do you need Miss Sebring brought down?
I'm doing, right now, Miss Underwood's in a breakout room with Miss Carver, so about halfway through that one, we can bring her down. Mr. McQueen, how are you today?
I'm good.
Good. Can I ask what case you're here for today?
I'm here for,
Is it yours?
for Miss Carver's sentencing hearing.
Okay, okay. All right, so, Mr. McQueen, I'm gonna pop in the waiting room and I'll bring you back in just a moment, okay?
That's fine.
Thank you. Do you have anybody speaking today?
No. Your Honor, we may have to ask Ms. Underwood when she comes back in, but Reese is, he has two, I call them kind of pseudo guardians, and Reese's father has given his okay for them to speak on his behalf if the court will allow it.
Okay, we'll wait till Miss Underwood gets back. All right, hold on. Miss Underwood, are you coming back in? I think Miss Underwood, there she is. Okay. So I'm gonna let Mr. McQueen in. Is he speaking today?
No, no.
All right, Mr. McQueen, we're gonna start here in a minute. I'm gonna go ahead and mute you just for the hearing. Sometimes we just pick up backup noise. All right. This is in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Jasmine Michelle Carver, file number 24-21740FH. I have Rhonda Underwood appearing on behalf of Ms. Carver. Ms. Underwood, have you and Ms. Wagner checked in and
Yes, we have.
know what we're doing today?
Yes, we are proceeding with sentence under the terms that we discussed in Chambers.
With the other prosecutor? Like,
Yes, I'm
Yes,
sorry,
okay.
yes.
okay, I was like, which comments?
We discussed today.
So, Ms. Underwood, Ms. Wagner, we have Mr. McQueen on Zoom today, but then we also have guardians for some of the children that are present today that would like to speak. And because they are guardians, I believe they're entitled to speak. So you have no objection to that.
I don't have any objection, Your Honor.
So anyway, I have Rhonda Underwood appearing on behalf of Ms. Carver and Amanda Wagner appearing on behalf of the people. Ms. Carver is appearing via Zoom. So Ms. Carver, have you had a chance to read and review the pre-sentence report?
Yes.
Have you had an opportunity to discuss that report with your attorney?
Yes.
Are you satisfied with your attorney and the advice that she has given you?
Yes.
All right, Ms. Underwood, do you wish to explain or challenge the accuracy or relevancy of any information in the pre-sentence report?
We do not, Your Honor.
Do you, Ms. Wagner?
No, Your Honor.
All right, let's see. She has one prior offense back in 2015. So, and there are no guidelines because this is a misdemeanor. So, Ms. Underwood, I would just ask that you allow Ms. Wagner and the victims to speak first. Okay. All right. So, Ms. Wagner, you have someone who wants to
Yes, Your Honor, we have Wanda Short and Marnie Apple.
speak. Okay, one at a time that can come up. I'm just going to step up to the podium. And if you could state your full name for the record.
Wanda Short,
How do you spell your last name?
SHORT.
Okay, very good. So what would you like to say to me?
I picked the kids up on the day all this happened, and the first thing was Mommy and Keys whooped Reese because they beat Reese. And that Reese says he has nightmares from this now, and he speaks as to Jasmine and Keys as they're monsters. And Isabel, his sister, the trauma from it onto her is she won't even go into a bathroom by herself anymore. None at all. And she was never like that. She was fearless. And she almost sit on the floor and hold herself until somebody would come with her. That she's so traumatized from this. And I just wanted to, to make that aware of that. These kids, this is what over onto them, they are afraid. They're terrified because of that. And I just want them to be okay. And I just, want to make sure that they're fine.
They're in counseling.
Yeah, they do need, well, we're starting Isabel in counseling now, but yeah, they both need to be counseling, I think, yes.
Have they gone to counseling before this?
No, they were great, loving kids before this.
No, I mean, like during the process.
Oh, Isabel's been one time so far, as far as I know, and I don't have to ask Marnie about it.
Okay.
But she has been, they're starting it, so she needs to be in counseling because we got to get past this, because she won't, like I said, she won't go to the bathroom out by herself, and she would get up in the middle of the night and go to the bathroom by herself without a problem, and now she won't. She's terrified, and they're terrified they're going to run into her. She's terrified she's going to run into her at the store. And Reese, like I said, he's watching this cartoon about monsters, and he refers to her and Keys as the monsters in the TV show now. I had photos on my table of us at Chuck E. Cheese on her birthday, on Izzy's birthday, and she ripped them up, and ripped her mom out, and I'm taking it to the counselor, and then drew all over it with black marker. You know, like cut her right out of it. And I walked into the kitchen and here these pictures are just being tore up, and I was like, baby, what are you doing? She, I don't want her in these pictures. She did not want them in, she didn't want her in them, she just tore them up. And I just think she's been really traumatized from this, and I just want them to be better, and I just, you know, think she shouldn't have to pay for what she did. It's, I really do. She shouldn't just, I hope that they do on probation. I hope she, you know, she learns from this. Definitely needs parenting classes. You know, I think that Jasmine loves her children, but she doesn't know how to put her children first. She doesn't know how to sacrifice for her kids. You know, you put your kids first, always, you know, as a mother, and she's never done that. No. And I've known her since Isabel's born. So, you know, I don't think she ever will be able to put her kids first.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for listening to me.
Of course. Right, you step up to the podium too.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And could you start out by stating your full name?
It's Margaret Apple,
Spell your last name,
APPLE.
just like it sounds. Okay,
Yes.
so go ahead, your first name.
Margaret, MARGARET.
Thanks.
I guess first and foremost, Wanda's referring to the incident with Reese happening in a bathroom. That is why Isabel is having issues with the bathroom, but from the very beginning after this happened, Reese would have nightmares. He would holler out in the middle of the night or cry. He would holler out things like, quit, don't, stop, I don't want to, why? Or he would be crying in his sleep. And he occasionally, I mean, we try very hard to spell around him if we have to be speaking about anything referring to this, so that he's not picking up on anything. And he just comes right out and just says stuff. Something sparks his memory, something he sees on TV, something somebody says, and then he just interjects with, Mommy and Keys did this, or I didn't like it when Mommy did that, or I don't ever, 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 ever want to see Mommy and Keys again. And I don't know how to, I guess, exactly describe what it's like for him on a daily basis. We move on, we do as much things as we can. We all spend as much time with him as we can, trying to get further and further and further away from the incident, that I'm hoping that it's not going to carry, he's not going to carry this for the rest of his life, but he speaks a lot about it. And when I initially saw the bruises, the first thing I said was, oh my goodness, Reese, what happened? How did you get all these bruises? He said point blank, I peed on the floor. He was in the middle of potty training. I peed on the floor and Mama and Keys whooped me with a belt and put me in a corner. And I was the one that reported it. I was told to get Tommy and get it medically documented and started all of this. And I'm really and truly hoping that these kids can get past this and that they don't have all these residual effects and these lasting effects of years and years and years of abuse. And I do believe, I'm just throwing this out, Isabel suffered longer because she was older. And even we're a year, almost a year exactly at this, and Reese is still talking about it. still making reference to it. And I just say, well, you know what? Everything's okay now. This is how I move him out of the direction of him starting to, everything's fine now. You're safe now. Everything's good now. Just so that I'm hoping slowly but surely we can kind of work this out of his mind so he's not as traumatized. But he's still to this day, a year later, has nightmares and dreams and still talks about how he doesn't want to ever see them again and that they are monsters. And I am not one of those people. I do not discuss this. I do not prompt him. I do not ask him questions. I don't ask him how he feels about this incident. This is something that we just never discuss, and he is the one that brings it up.
But he has to talk about it. And that's why he should be in counseling. He should be doing talk therapy. He should be discussing it with professionals and working through it. He has to talk about it.
Yes, and Tommy has that paperwork.
Okay. Because if he
But
doesn't,
what I encourage, and that's what I was saying earlier, is that, well, everything's okay right now. You're safe right now. Yes, I do understand what you're saying. I appreciate that.
it's not safe. Like he's safe today, but I think in his mind, he doesn't know he'll be safe tomorrow. So I think, he's doing good about talking about it, but he needs to be in counseling. Both of them do.
I do understand that. Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much. Anything you want to say on behalf of the people?
Yes, Your Honor. So just briefly, I think it's important to note that when this investigation happened and Detective Putnam was investigating it, Ms. Carver was not cooperative. She lied several times and was caught in those lies. She said she didn't have a belt at all in the home. They found a belt in the home. She said it wasn't her belt. It was a friend's belt who had stayed the night. They went and interviewed that friend. That friend said, no, I've never spent the night there. That's not my belt. That's not my size. Wasn't even her correct name, actually, or the place where she was employed. So there were a lot of lies that were told about this. When I saw the photographs of the injuries on this little 3-year-old, it was startling. They were very distinct and clear belt marks. There were marks that indicated to me that the buckle of the belt had struck this little 3-year-old as well. When I asked his father, Tommy, and his guardians, Wanda and Marnie, to describe their reaction when they saw those, they cried as they told me about it. And they said their immediate reaction when they saw the marks was to cry. You're not supposed to see marks like that on a little boy's body, on a little child's body. And I guess I'm especially disheartened this morning as I look at Ms. Carver on Zoom, and I don't think that you had the benefit of seeing this because you were focusing on Marnie and Wanda as they spoke, but Ms. Carver rolled her eyes and shook her head as they spoke, and I didn't see one bit of remorse from her. And I hope that she has remorse for the injuries that were inflicted on her young child, but she didn't demonstrate that this morning as Wanda and Marnie were speaking, and I think that that's really disheartening. So I would just ask you to take all of that into consideration.
Thank you, Ms. Wagner. Ms. Underwood.
Your Honor,
I'm sorry, I cut out there first.
The first-
I had very
one
bad
moment.
signal.
one moment, I'll address that. Your Honor, I would like to start out by saying this is a tragedy for all concerned. Ms. Carver does not minimize in any way the damage done to her children. Ms. Carver understands that. Ms. Carver has lost custody of her children. Ms. Carver is not even allowed any parenting time with her children. She has paid a price for that. Your Honor, Ms. Carver, I believe there was an assault case with Ms. Carver as a victim with the other person who was initially charged in this. Your Honor, Ms. Carver makes no excuses, Your Honor, for her conduct. Ms. Carver told me this morning that she has been getting daily texts from anonymous people threatening her and saying really repugnant things to her. And that's, I think, why she is upset this morning, in addition to what we're doing here. Ms. Carver fully understands, Your Honor, that she has a long way to go, both as a person and to make herself, to atone for what happened here, Your Honor. We would ask that the court sentence Ms. Carver to probation with the provisions that the court feels comfortable. Ms. Carver does not live in the county anymore. There should be no excuse for any contact between these people at all at this point. I think it may never happen, but I think that we would ask the court to comply with the plea agreement in this matter, Your Honor. Ms. Carver is ready to and eager to get this behind her.
Ms. Carver, anything you'd like to say on your own behalf?
Yes. I need this to be reminded. When I had my daughter, being my circumstances, I understood that I couldn't care for her, and I gave her to Wanda. I put my trust in Wanda for my daughter. I didn't get any kind of full custody of my daughter until about a month, 2 months after I had asked them if I could put her on my taxes, because they had been filing taxes for her. It was a problem. They stole her social security card and went ahead and did it anyways. I was trying to get Section 8 housing for
So
me
Ms.
and
Carver, Ms. Carver, listen, I want to hear what you have to say about the fact your children were beaten. So why don't we talk about that?
I never, and I really say this with all my heart, and I feel like with what we've been through, I would never put my hands on my children. I realized that somebody else was, and I got away from them. I take blame for not noticing that that was happening, and I apologize for that. I do. I apologize. I did not realize that was happening. I didn't. I love my children. That will never change. And I have completely removed myself from all of that. I'm going to church. I'm going to parenting classes. I'm going to therapy. I'm doing everything that I can. And I'm trying to be a better person. I'm trying to be there for my kids. But I get woken up every morning telling me that I'm a horrible person, and that's why my mom died and my dad doesn't love me, and I should just go kill myself. And it's like, I'm trying everything I can. And I realized I made mistakes. And I put myself and my children around people who they shouldn't have been around. And I regret that. I will always regret that. But I'm doing everything that I can to fix the problem that I can be allowed. You know what I mean? I'm doing everything I can.
Anything else?
I will do whatever I can for my children. I will do whatever I can. And even if that means I have to do it from a distance right now. I understand the predicament. But at the same time, these people, I mean, it doesn't even matter, because I mean, I have people who could stand up and literally attest to say that these people are lying. But I just felt like no matter what, I'm not going to be heard. So
Miss Carver, Oh, thank you. In determining the appropriate sentence in this case, the court has considered the seriousness of the offense, your history, the principle of proportionality, the statutory penalty, the cost of confinement, the sentencing guidelines, the report and recommendation of the probation department, as well as what has been said upon the record at this hearing. The criteria and reasons for the sentence are the nature and gravity of the offense, the discipline appropriate to its commission, deterrence against repetition by you and by others, potential for reformation, vindication for the law, and protection of society. So, Ms. Carver, what I heard was a lot of deflection of blame. Being a mother, I know if my kid has a bad mosquito bite. I certainly would know if someone was beating the shit out of my kid. And you let them. You're not talking anymore. I'm talking. So, you know, unfortunately, this happened, and now your kids are going to pay for this for the rest of their lives. The rest of their lives, because in their eyes, you are a monster now. So I'm glad that you're making progress. I'm glad that you're doing things through CPS. But, you know, these children will take years to recover from this, and that's why they need to be in counseling. They can't forget about it. They have to deal with it. So they need to be in counseling so they don't marry a man who beats the crap out of them or, you know, beat the crap out of their girlfriend. You know, they have to change that. And unfortunately, you did not protect them, and that's why we're here today. So it's sentence of the court that you will pay. You'll be placed on probation for a period of 12 months under 769.4A. During that term of probation, you will pay $750 in court costs, $450 court-appointed attorney fee, $100 fine, $50 in state costs, $75 crime victim rights fee, $30 per month supervision fee. During your term of probation, you're not to use any illegal controlled substances, any alcohol, not to be unsupervised around any minor children under the age of 17. You are to maintain employment, not to commit any assaultive behavior. Anything else?
I would ask for no contact order between her and the children, and
This is a PS case, right?
she's lost custody to both children at
Or
this
her parental
point,
rights
so
terminated?
I believe so. Yes.
Okay, no contact with the minor children.
And can we include the children's fathers? I can give you their names, as well as Wanda Short and Margaret Apple, who frequently have the children in their custody.
Okay, so Miss Underwood, no contact with the children, their fathers, or the guardians. So you understand, Miss Carver, you're not to have any contact with either biological father or either of the women who were here speaking today, Miss Apple and Miss Short. Do you understand that?
Yes. Will I be able to see my kids ever again?
No, you lost custody. You lost your parental rights over them. Your rights were terminated, correct, Miss Carver?
I thought my custody was terminated. I thought I still had rights.
I don't know. I don't have that file, but I don't know if you'll ever see your kids again. You know, maybe when they're adults, if they want to see you, but that would be them when they're an adult. Okay. Okay. And what are the father's names?
Tommy Veazey, right? Veazey, and Carre, Caree McQueen.
Carrie,
It's pronounced Carre, but it's Caree
McQueen.
McQueen.
All right. Okay. All right. So, Miss So Ms. Carver, you do have the right to appeal this sentence, and we're going to mail to you 3 copies of your notice of right to appellate review. You'll initial and date 1 copy, put it back in the self-addressed envelope and mail it back to us. The other copies are for you. And if you wish to appeal the sentence, you would fill out the information on the form and mail it to the address listed on the form within 42 days. I'm going to need you to report to the district court probation officer on July 11th, next Thursday, between 8 and 10 a.m. Do you understand that?
Yes.
And you also need to maintain employment. So Ms. Adams, I'll need to fill out a district court. All right, so, all right, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, so, I have Ms.
If I
Sebring.
could have just a brief meeting with Ms.
Or you can have a seat with her real quick. I'll put the monitor in the waiting room so nobody will hear it. On that end. Okay, so we are on the record in the matter of people of the state of Michigan versus Haley Grace Lynn Jean Sebring. There are multiple files, 21-20382 FH, 21-20520 FH, 21-20521 FH, 21-20522 FH, 22-21037 FC, 22-21038 FH, 24-21747 FH, 24-21812 FH. That should be it. So let me put it aside. This is the date and time set for sentencing on all these files. And so, Ms. Underwood, I'm gonna have to bear with me because I want to make sure I go through everything and get it correct. But Ms. Sebring, have you had a chance to read and review the pre-sentence report?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, have you had an opportunity to discuss that with Ms. Underwood?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with Ms. Underwood as your attorney and the advice that she's given you?
I am.
All right, so Ms. Underwood, do you wish to explain or challenge just the accuracy or relevancy of any information in this pre-sentence report?
We do not, Your Honor.
Does pre-sentence report disclose any prior convictions in which there exists any known constitutional defect?
It does not. Your Honor.
So. So we have a probation violation report and we also have the pre-sentence report. You received both of those, right? Okay, so the pre-sentence report on the new felonies, the probation department has calculated the minimum sentencing guidelines. Hold on. 24-21747FH to be 0 to 17 months. Do you agree with that calculation of guidelines?
On that one, yeah.
Okay, and then on 24-21812FH, it calculated the minimum sentencing guidelines to be 34 to 67. Do you agree with that calculation of guidelines?
We do, Your Honor.
Okay, and then we didn't recalculate guidelines on the probation violations, so. Before the court passes sentence, is there anything you'd like to say on behalf of your client?
Your Honor, I think it's obvious from the number of files we're dealing with that Ms. Sebring has a variety of issues. But I think she stands here today with an opportunity to actually dig herself out of the hole she's dug herself, Your Honor. I think the agreement, Your Honor, that was placed on the record at the time of sentencing is absolutely appropriate. I think a year of prison and boot camp at the end of that would be extremely beneficial to Ms. Sebring. In speaking to her, she is clear-headed now, Your Honor. She understands the situation, and I think she really wants to take control of it. We would ask, Your Honor, in terms of time served, there was an issue, the paperwork on the latest charge. Ms. Sebring has been incarcerated since February
13th.
But I don't believe the paperwork on the one charge came until a couple months later, right?
Until April 3rd or April 4th was my latest.
I'll just give her credit for the 143.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Anything else?
No, I think we are giving Ms. Sebring a chance and the tools to put a stop to this, Your Honor. And she has the opportunity to do that. And I fervently hope she does that because I think she can, if she wants.
Have you been able to communicate with Jackson at all?
Yes, ma'am. I actually just had my arraignment. I have probable cause hearing today at 1 p.m. via Zoom.
Via Zoom?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that the only other, is there any other counties looking for you right now?
No, ma'am.
Okay, all right. Is there anything you want to say on your own behalf?
No, she pretty much covered it. My only question was about the credit for time served, and I appreciate that greatly. Thank you so much.
All right. In determining the appropriate sentence in this case, the court has considered the seriousness of the offense, year history, principle of proportionality, the statutory penalty, the cost of confinement, the sentencing guidelines, the report and recommendation of the probation department, as well as what has been said upon the record at this hearing. The criteria and reasons for the sentence are the nature and gravity of the offenses, the discipline appropriate to its commission, deterrence against repetition by you and by others, potential for reformation, vindication for law and protection of society. Well, starting today, you're kind of caught up with everything and you'll be able to start over fresh. I'm sorry that it's going to be in prison, but at least boot camp will be an option. There's nothing waiting over your shoulder for you. So on files number. All right. So, Mr. Moore, I know you're filling in today, but on her probation files, she's got like 314 days credit on most files.
Yes.
So I think I'm just gonna give her credit for time served and revoke and terminate.
Sounds good.
All right, so on file number 21-20382FH, 21-20520FH, 21-20521FH, 21-20522 FH. Sentence the court that you will be given credit for 314 days already served. I'm going to revoke and terminate your probation. On file number 22-21037 FH and 22-21038 FH, I'm going to give you credit for 190 days on each of those files and revoke and terminate your probation. And those will be unsuccessful on both of those. So moving on to the new sentencings. It is the sentence of the court that on file number 24-21747 FH will give you credit for 143 days served and no probation. On 24-21812 FH, sentence the court that you will serve 36 months to 10 years with the Michigan Department of Corrections. We'll give you credit for 143 days served. There was a sentencing agreement that after 1 year, you would be approved to the SIA boot camp. So SIA boot camp is like a 90-day program, then you get out on parole.
Did you say 36 months? I thought it was 24. Agreement was 24.
Oh, I'm sorry, I did misspeak. They recommended 36, but the agreement was 24. So I'll change that to 24 months with the Michigan Department of Corrections to 10 years. And then after 1 year, the court will approve to send her to boot camp. There also is $68 in state costs and $130 crime victim rights fee. All right. Anything else, Ms. Underwood?
No. Do we have another file, right? The one that
The
17 file. Okay. No, I got it.
747, Judge.
Right.
yeah, I gave her credit for time served in that.
Yep.
Okay.
We're good.
Okay, there's just a lot of files. We want to make sure we get them all right. Now, you do have the right to appeal this sentence. My former bailiff, current transport officer, is going to hand you your notice of right to appellate review forms. So you've got so many files. The stack at the top is for you to take with you. And if you wish to appeal the sentence, you would fill out the information on the form and mail it to the address listed on the form within 42 days. So the one directly in front of you, see where it's highlighted?
Yes,
You're
ma'am.
going to have to initial and date every one of those copies. So today is July 5, just initial and date each one. I actually have a review at 10 a.m. on Jasmine Carver on the abuse neglect file. I wonder if she knows that. I haven't looked that far ahead of my docket.
On the new files, I believe we need to address the fees, restitution.
Is there restitution?
It looks like in
Oh, I'm
file.
sorry. Yep, you're right. I'm sorry. They're not as organized as you are in your recommendations, Mr. Moore.
Oh, well,
So
thank you.
it looks like, ma'am, there is restitution on file number 20.
So it looks as there's a file that's dismissed. However, the restitution will
Okay.
be added
So-
on.
All right, so I am going to add $336.70 in restitution on file number 24-21812 FH, because that was part of the agreement. So that will be added on that file too, okay? So ma'am, you're finally getting into a place where everything's caught up with you and you're not gonna have a bunch of stuff waiting for you. So I hope you take advantage of it and try to turn this around, all right?
Yes, ma'am. I see this as an opportunity more than anything. I prepared myself for it and So you've seen the last of me in your courtroom in front of you. I don't think you've seen the last of me with what I want to do when I come home, so.
All right. Well, I wish you the best of luck, all right?
And I know I have your support, so thank you so much.
All right,
I
thank you.
appreciate everything you've done with me today. Very
Well,
much so, very much so.
I hope that this goes well for you and you get what you want, okay? Thank you.
Good luck, Haley.
Thank you.
So Aaron Carr,
Aaron Carr.
ready for Aaron Carr?
Are we,
She's in jail. Do you want her?
yeah, but we put it over because Sarah wanted to check what was going on, I guess, in Indiana. Or, well, I think Aaron's Indiana.
Do you have any notes? I don't even have a PSI on her.
It was a PVR, Your Honor.
Oh, I don't even
It's a
have that.
probation violation report.
I don't have that either. Mr. Moore, do you have any notes from Ms. Teskey about what's going on in Indiana in the matter of the, we'll get Ms. Carr, let me call for the jail.
It looks like,
Middle floor, Deputy Revolt.
Hey, this is Judge Anselm. We're ready for Ms. Carr when you are.
Alrighty, ma'am, let me make sure the screen's on still.
All right, thank you.
Yep, bye.
Bye. All right, in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Aaron Michelle Carr, 22-20951 FH, 22-20952 FH, 22-21040 FH, and Rhonda Underwood appearing on behalf of Ms. Carr. So, Mr. Moore, do you have any notes?
looks like, she was arrested June 19th. Previous to that, she was in Indiana on bond. So, I'm assuming she's in Indiana in jail. Is that, or do
No,
we have
she's
her?
at our jail now.
Oh, she is.
Ms. Carr will be able to give us some information.
Yeah. I mean,
So,
there is
Ms. Carr, oh, go ahead, Tom.
there is a probation violation report if you need that.
Ms. Adams, do you have it, or did I, was it with something, or?
I've seen it.
Well, I know you have, but if I don't have it, it
Yes.
doesn't do.
Yes, you should have it, Judge, somewhere.
Let's see. Sebring. Tebow.
Thank you.
Chapman. Louise. Yeah, it was in the wrong file, so I got it now. Ms. Carr, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right, so Ms. Carr, what's going on in Indiana now?
I don't have court till September something, September 13th, I believe, but I'm looking at 2 to 14.
All right, so you're looking at 2 to 14 months in Ohio.
No, not months, years.
Oh, I'm sorry, 2 to 14 years in Ohio Department of Corrections. So
No, Indiana, not Ohio.
Indiana. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
So they're recommending on this her probation be revoked, and when you're in jail, I can release her to Indiana.
Well,
Okay.
What, Tom?
Yeah, you could do that, Your Honor.
I don't know that we need the 1 year in jail provision, Your Honor. I don't think that was talked about at the plea when Ms. Teskey and I discussed it. She's going to Indiana. I don't know that she'll be out on bond. But I would think the smartest thing to do would be just to cut Ms. Carr loose and send her to Indiana to deal with far more serious issues than we have here at this point. She's done time here. I really think we're at the end of it, Your Honor.
Well, she has a habit of not reporting. So, and it doesn't matter one way or the other whether I give her a year in jail, she's gonna serve it in Indiana anyway.
Probably.
My mom is sick and if I have the opportunity to bond out, I would like to do that once I get there. My mom is super sick and before I go to prison, I would like to spend some time with her.
Well, she still's gotta, okay,
I would
so,
point out also, Your Honor, that when Ms. Carr was
I
released.
mean, I'm
in
going to
Indiana-
prison. There's no ifs,
all
ands, or
right,
buts about
everybody
it.
stop talking for just a minute. I'm gonna back up. Ms. Carr, did you get an opportunity to
Sorry.
read and review yep, it's okay. We're just all getting ahead of ourselves. So Ms. Carr, did you have an opportunity to read and review the pre-sentence report?
I don't
The
think so.
PDR, remember?
Okay,
Did
yeah,
Yeah, did you get a chance to talk to Ms. Underwood?
yeah,
All right, are you satisfied with Ms. Underwood as your attorney and the advice that she's given you?
yeah, yep.
Okay, so Ms. Underwood, do you wish to explain or challenge the accuracy or relevancy of any information in this?
I do
pre-sentence?
not, Your Honor.
All right, before the court passes sentence, is there anything you'd like to say on behalf of your client?
Yes, Your Honor. What Ms. Carr, first of all, I think the parent is facing 2 to 14 years on very serious charges in Indiana, Your Honor. When she was out on bond down there, she was complying with all their requests. Unfortunately, she did not report as required here. Ms. Carr understands that was wrong. She was trying to get things done down there. And I think she knows better now. I think at this point, the best thing the court could do is release Ms. Carr to Indiana and let her proceed with her punishment on that case down there, Your Honor, which is a very serious case.
All right, Ms. Carr, anything you want to say on your own behalf before the court passes sentence?
No, I guess one thing, when I was in Indiana, when I bonded out, I was following everything that they wanted me to do. I'm sorry that I did not contact one of my courts when I got out. That was my fault. I take responsibility for that. But I was following through with everything they wanted me to do. I was going to court and checking in with them like I was supposed to, up until I got my warrant issued here. So that's all though.
All right, so determining the appropriate sentence in this case, the court has considered the seriousness of the offense, your history, the principle of proportionality, the statutory penalty, the cost of confinement, the sentencing guidelines, the report and recommendation of the probation department, as well as what has been said upon the record at this hearing, the criteria and reasons for the sentence or the nature and gravity of the offenses, the discipline appropriate to its commission, deterrence against repetition by you and by others, potential for reformation, vindication for the law, and the protection of society. So, Ms. Carr, you are on probation with me at this time, still with some controlled substance cases, as well as uttering and publishing cases that all involve, obviously, substance abuse issues. During your bond conditions, you failed to drug test as ordered. You failed to appear for a show cause on December 28th of 22. You, April 30th of 24, you were ordered to report to probation as often as required. I understand you went to Indiana. You're required to report in Indiana. You didn't report here. And then we sent you notice of a probation violation hearing on May 15th, and you failed to appear on that day. I understand that you've been in the throes of addiction for a long time, but you've also been completely uncompliant with anything that I've asked of you. And now you're facing charges because someone died in a car accident in Indiana and you're facing prison, which in the scheme of things, yes, absolutely. Loss of life is way more important than the charges I have. But I do feel it is appropriate that there be some sanctions for her absolute failure to comply with anything I've asked of her. Hold on a minute. Come here.
Take your hat off.
Take your hat off. What's your name?
Drayden Morale. My 10 years fiance wanted to know what time at court.
What case? Oh, well, it's not yet. We'll be there in a minute. You can have a seat. Yeah, you can sit down. So, it's sentence of the court that you will serve 1 year in the Lenawee County Jail. On file number 22-20951FH, you will serve 74 days or 1 year in jail, credit for 74 days. On file number 22-21040FH, I'll give you credit for 32 days. You can be released to Indiana for anything that they need there. And it would be concurrent to any sentence you serve in Indiana. Ms. Carr, I wish you the best of luck.
Oh, I have a question. So if I was able to get a bond there, that would not allow me to bond out, is that what you're saying?
No, you would come back to my jail.
Okay, so that's what you guys tried last time and that's not what happened.
Well, or you'll stay there. They probably won't bond you out because there's no point. So listen, when you get there and they're saying, hey, we'll give you a PR bond, tell them no. Because if they give you a PR bond and you're serving time on mine, you're not going to get any credit on your new file.
So they only have to serve half of their time there. Am I required to sign?
You're doing a year in jail on mine, Ms. Carr. I don't know how it impacts Indiana. Or
Right,
how
I understand,
Indiana.
but does it go by Indiana's laws or does it go by Michigan law?
You will serve a year in jail.
That's the case, I would rather serve my
Ms. Carr,
time here.
you're gonna serve a year in jail, whether it's here or Indiana on my files. You're not gonna be able to get out. So if they release you on a PR bond there, you're still gonna come back here.
Okay, because I would rather spend my time, my year here before I go to Indiana. If that's the case, I don't want to go to Indiana.
Well, I'm gonna release you to Indiana, so if they come to get you, you'll go to Indiana and take care of your file there, okay?
Do you have a third file of the outer and publishing?
So yes, and also, let me see. 5140. So Ms. Teskey, Mr. Moore, Ms. Teskey only ordered a recommendation on 51 and 40.
Okay, real quick here.
Isn't that the one, Miss Adams, she didn't do a probation violation on that one? 52.
No, I assumed it was for all of those.
She didn't make a recommendation.
Were you, Your Honor, you're discharging these files, correct, with the year in jail?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
And-
I'm just gonna, since there's no recommendation, Mr. Moore, on 5-2, I'll just revoke and terminate probation
Okay.
with credit for time served. All right. All right. So Ms. Carr, we're gonna send over to the jail your notice of right to appellate review. They're gonna have you initial a copy for each file, and then the other copies are for you. If you wish to appeal your sentence, you would fill out the information on the form and mail it to the address listed on the form within 42 days. All right?
How much credit for time served did I get?
Say it again.
How much time for credit time for credit served did I get?
Well, on file number 22-20951FH, you get 74 days. And then on file number 22-21040, you get 32 days. All right. But it'll run concurrent with whatever you're serving in Indiana. All right.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
We have Mr. Arasco.
So my understanding, although we haven't been able to verify it, Mr. Moore, I don't know if you can, in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Joelle Arasco, you have file number 23-21532FH, 23-21607FH, Rhonda Underwood appearing on behalf of him. My understanding is we received a call from a family member that he is still in the Washtenaw County Jail.
I'm
And
checking
then I
that
have
right
like
now.
a million pickups. At least she didn't call me a bad name today. Last time she was here, she called me a bad name like we did the other day. So Mr. Malaro and I got called all kinds of bad names the
Oh,
other
I
day.
was here for that, Your Honor. Well, it's just, Your Honor, Tusky's like, we'll let her go and, you know, then we get,
I am letting her go to Indiana.
but never mind.
It doesn't mean she gets off from doing all, gets away with nothing for what she did get, so. All right, so, Mr. Moore, any verification then on,
Now
Yeah, I'm
we just
checking.
on pickups.
huh?
Now we just on pickups.
Yeah, we're just on
I'll go back
pickups.
to back to my screen.
All right. All right, so. You know, we dismissed the Lerma one.
Hmm?
And Jose Lerma, the friend of the court one, we dismissed that because he's got the felony charge now.
So I'll be getting him.
You'll be getting him on a felony, so. All right, you want back here?
Yeah.
Will you let her back here? There we go. All right.
Yeah, he
Middle man.
is, he,
Hey, this
he
is
is in
Judge
custody
Angelo.
in Washington
Can I
County.
get, hold on, Mr. Moore. I don't know if I should call the first floor or this floor. I don't need Jose Lerma today, but I have Mark Regalato, Tony Rowe, Maverick Dockstader, and a Larry Clark. Their pickups over the weekend or holiday?
Okay, wait a second, so Clark. And who else?
Clark, Regalato, all of mine on the jail list
Okay,
that I haven't seen already. So Larry Clark, Maverick Dockstader, Tony Rowe, and Mark Regalato.
okay,
All right,
yep,
thank you, bye. So, Miss Adams, no, never mind. I don't have anybody showing up on the 10 o'clock, Miss Adams. The same.
Looking. I don't know why. I'll look into that.
Well, I know the last order, she placed on the record, she agreed that custody should be placed with father. So
I don't know why.
I'm wondering if Protective Services closed their file.
Maybe.
Ma'am? You waiting for Clark, Dockstader, and Regalato?
And Rowe.
And Rowe. All right, I'll get them sent up from booking, okay?
All right, thank you. Tom, will Indiana come get Miss Carr?
That's a good question. Every state is different in how they do things. And if you have that you'll release to them, I don't see why they won't.
Yeah. I don't think
but-
she has to pay for her jail bill in Indiana, so. All right,
Oh, okay.
Ms. Underwood, they're bringing people up to you, okay?
Yeah, Your Honor.
And Arasco is in the Washtenaw County Jail.
So, Ms. Adams, do I already have an active warrant on Mr. Arasco?
Let me check. I do not see one, no.
So, Ms. Underwood, I'm gonna issue a bench warrant on him just so before they send him all over, he'll come back to me, okay?
That's fine, Your Honor.
And then we'll see him right away when we get him anyway, so he would get out then, so, or if that's what the recommendation is. So in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Joelle Jesus Arasco, 2 files 23-21532 FH and 23-21607 FH. Mr. Arasco is now currently serving jail time in Washtenaw County. So he's failed to appear. I'm gonna issue a bench warrant. I'm gonna set bond in the amount of $500.
Total
that-
or each file?
Huh?
Total or each file?
Each file, just because I want him to get some credit for the time he's spending in Washtenaw. All right, Ms. Underwood, I don't want him to not get credit for this if he's sitting in
Right.
jail. Yeah, okay.
So is that 500 on
Alright.
each file, Judge?
Yes, ma'am, 500 on each. Usually shows up for me, so. You were. We're gonna come get some files today, Dawn. I don't know that I pulled everything out. So, yeah.
I believe that's everything that I was covering today, Your Honor.
I have box I have Tony Rowe. I have Maverick Dockstader. I don't know who those people are. Oh, those are contempt of court. So I got Tony Rowe unless he's not yours.
No,
I got Doc Stater. That's my judge.
Who's Tony Rhodes?
Rhodes. How do you spell it?
Tony Rowe, R-O-W-E.
Okay, I'll check.
Becky, you can come get some files if you want.
I'm on my way.
I might take. Huh?
Want me to take it too?
No, she'll come get some and then I'll take the rest. Who did she say she was getting? Hi, who do I have at the jail?
Larry Clark.
Larry Clark. Okay, let me grab your file. Hold on 1 second, Mr. Clark. 2804. H. All right, this is in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Larry Dean Clark, file number 24-218-04FH. Mr. Clark, this is a Judge Olsaver file. We are here today, and I need Darren Coast as well. So let me call Mr. Coast. He's back there. Hi, Mr. Coast. We are just called the Clark case, Larry Clark.
Okay.
You want to log in if you want.
I sure will. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Bye. All right, so Mr. Clark, we are here today on a contempt of court, which alleges that as a term of your bond conditions, you were ordered to report to Darren Coast from pretrial services on May 29th of 2024, right after court for a drug screen as directed, that you failed to do twice weekly drug screens at the facility as part of your bond conditions, and that you failed to test in the month of May. Do you understand those are the allegations against you, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and this is a contempt of court proceeding because this is an open file. Let me see. Well, no, you are actually set for sentencing on July 18th at 8:15 in front of Judge Olsaver. So, Mr. Clark, contempt of court carries a maximum penalty of up to 93 days in jail and a $7,500 fine. Do you understand that, Mr. Clark?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, Mr. Clark, you are represented on the underlying file. Who's your attorney, Mr. Clark? Is it Mr. Glazier?
It is, Your Honor.
Okay, so do you have a right to have court-appointed counsel represent you on the contempt of court, Mr. Clark? Would you like an attorney appointed to represent you on the contempt of court?
Yes, please.
All right, Ms. Underwood, I'm going to pop you into a breakout room with Mr. Clark. So, Mr. Clark, you're going to get an invitation to join the breakout room and chat with Ms. Underwood.
This is a Mike Stevenson case that I'll handle.
Okay, thank you. Miss Adams, I do have some of the PSIs because I'm just double checking my notes in case you were looking for them.
Okay.
Anybody lose any fingers last night, or we all intact from fireworks?
Intact, I stay away from that.
No. My neighbor, I don't know where he gets that stuff, but I know it's not legal. And, but it's a heck of a show.
Darren,
Yeah,
can you hear
Tom.
me?
Yep.
Yeah, if you remember, this is the file, just so we're on the same page, that he was ordered to come over and see us that same day. Failed to do
Correct.
so. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but I tried calling him and his voicemail wasn't set up, and I have not heard from him.
Yeah, either we.
I'm closing the breakout room, Miss Underwood, and bringing Mr. Clark back. I don't know where those people that were in the courtroom went. I think that case is closed. You can go see if they're in there. I'll wait. All right, so Miss Underwood, have you had a chance to speak with Mr. Clark?
I have, Your Honor.
And how would you like to proceed with Mr. Clark?
I would like to plead him not guilty to the contempt, Your Honor, and ask that I believe a bond can be constructed, Your Honor, so that Mr. Clark could report as often as the court requests to Mr. Coast. Mr. Clark has a sentencing date with Mr. Glazer on July 18th, Your Honor, I believe. There is any objection to a no upfront jail on this case. Mr. Clark has every reason to present himself there and to comply with any requirements of the court prior to that, Your Honor, that the court might make.
Mr. Moore, has he reported for his PSI?
No, the day I took his plea, and I advised, he was advised by his attorney and also to come straight over to the probation department and see us as well as Mr. Coase. He failed to do that, and we never heard from him. So there is no PSI that's been created yet because we have not been able to get in touch with him.
So now we got to move the sentencing to Miss Underwood. All
But we would
right.
ask that he remain in jail.
All right. Well, the plea agreement is for no upfront jail at the time of sentencing, but if we can't get a PSI, we can't get a PSI. So, let's see. Miss McGreen, you don't have Judge Olsaver's book, do you?
Judge, no, I don't. Miss Clark is working remotely with the book though, and her phone should be forwarded to her.
Okay, so let me call Miss Clark to see if I can get a sentencing date for Judge Olsaver, because now we have to do a PSI. All right.
This is Francis.
Hello, Ms. Clark. This is Judge Anzalone. I am looking for a sentencing date for a Mr. Clark. We'll need a PSI, so I'll need the next available sentencing date, like 6 weeks out.
Okay, just 1 second, please. August 16th at 8:15.
All right, so Miss Underwood, I think Mr. Glazier is available that day. So I will set sentencing for August 16 of 2024. Help I turn on my numerals. So hold on. So I'm trying to keep good notes. Why is it not working? August 16. And that's at 8:15?
Yes.
And this is file number, it is file number 24-21804 FH, People v. Larry Clark.
Alrighty.
All right, so I will enter a plea of not guilty on behalf of Mr. Clark. And I will set sentencing for August 16th of 24 at 8:15 in the morning. Mr. Clark, someone from the Michigan Department of Corrections will come over and meet with you to do the pre-sentence report. Be truthful with them about the offense and also your background. They'll prepare the report. We'll provide it to Mr. Glazier. And bond is currently set at, double check, I have the bond here. 50,000 cash assurity, and I will leave that in place for Judge Olsiger. All right. So, all right, thank you. You can tell them I'm ready for the next person. Thank you.
Yeah. Have the right to where was that?
Well, I don't know if I should call the jail. I hate bugging them. But I know they're busy and I'm gonna call the jail. Hey, this is Judge Anslone. I know transport has a Zoom room upstairs open. And we don't need to see, what's his name? Which is the one we're not seeing. Who is it? Lerma. But I'm ready whenever on Rowe, Doc, Stater, and Clark. I know they're probably walking them up and down, right?
Yeah, yep, they're actually taking the next one right
Awesome.
now.
Thank you.
You're
Bye.
welcome.
Bye. I think I'm only judge today, aren't I, Rhonda?
What?
I'm the only judge today, so. I don't know. I don't know how Miss Adams talked me into that, but
Somebody had to do it.
somebody had to do it. So in the matter of, I'm gonna call the 10 o'clock. In the matter of Jasmine Carver versus Tommy Beasy, file number 23-50724DS and 23-000-169NA. So they were previously here. And an order was prepared granting father primary physical custody of the minor child. The parties agreed on the record. And therefore, this case is closed on this. And what happened on the abuse neglect file? And I terminated jurisdiction back on April 15th. So with the right, okay, so those files are all closed, Becky. I don't know what we need to do on our system to close them, but they're closed. All right, who do I have from the jail?
Bart Regalato.
All right, Mr. Regalato. This is in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Mark Shane Regalato, file number 24-21763FH. So Mr. Regalato, we are here. This is my file. Yep. So we are here today, sir, on a couple things. Well, actually just one thing. You were ordered to appear for a circuit court pretrial back on May 1 of 2024, and you failed to appear. So we issued a bench warrant and set bond in the amount of $1,500 cash to surety. So Mr. Regalato, on a contempt of court, that can carry up to 93 days in jail, along with up to $7,500 in fines and costs. So Mr. Regalato, you are represented on the underlying file by Michael Dagger Margosian, but you do have a right to have an attorney represent you on the contempt of court here today. Would you like an attorney appointed to represent you?
Yes, please.
Okay, so Ms. Underwood, I am going to appoint you to represent Mr. Regalato, and I'm going to open up a Zoom room. Go ahead, Mr. Regalato, and join that Zoom room. I'm going to run these files back to the settings. Take a quick break while they're doing that.
Sir, you gotta join the room.
Should have a guard in there. Shouldn't.
Longest morning ever. I swear, Rhonda, this has been like the longest morning ever. I'm gonna close the breakout room. Bring Mr. Regalato back. All right. Hold on, he's coming back. There he is. Okay. All right, so Miss Underwood, have you had a chance to speak to Mr. Regalato?
I have, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, how would you like to proceed?
I would ask that the court enter a not guilty plea on Mr. Regalato's behalf. I believe he may have been hospitalized at the time, Your Honor. But that's something that we're going to have to check into.
Okay.
I would ask that this is a Michael Dager Margosian case. I would ask that it be set perhaps on Wednesday.
Yep. All right, so I'm gonna enter a plea of not guilty, and I will set it over to July 17th for a pretrial conference with Mr. Dager Margosian. He's here on the 6th.
Is that the first opportunity?
Yeah. Miss Adams, is that the next available? I think it is.
Yes, Judge.
Yeah.
Your Honor, I don't believe Mr. Regalato is going anywhere. I believe he remains local. I would ask that some sort of bond be fashioned for Mr. Regalato so that he can continue with CMH, and Mr. Coast could perhaps monitor him and that he is reporting to him and appears to be taking his medication.
Right. Well, Mr. Regalato, how long were you in the hospital?
I was in the hospital for over a week for suicide because I killed myself. So I was in there for over a week. And I've been starting to take my medications, Your Honor. I no longer use illegal drugs no more. I quit doing that. I've been good. I just had my wife had a baby 3 weeks ago, and I had to go to the hospital. My wife almost died because she had cesarean infection with my son. And that was like almost 3 weeks ago, I believe. It's all on paper. Everything I'm telling you is the truth because it's on record, ma'am.
All right. So I'm going to change his bond. Okay, Mr. Regalato, I'm all set. So I'm going to change his bond to 500 cash surety. So I reduced his bond, Miss Underwood.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So, Mr. Regalato, I'm going to release you. Well, I'm going to change your bond to 500 cash surety. Our pretrial is July 17th at 8:15. You need to be here because if you don't show up for that pretrial, I'm not going to release you next time. Got it?
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, I sort of just, whether I'm released or not, I sort of just want to get all this stuff over with so I can be done with it.
I bet. So we'll be back here. All right. So Mr. Regalato, if you post bond, make sure you're here on July 17th at 8:15 in the morning. And when you get out, you contact Mr. Dager Margosian, okay?
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you very much, Your Honor.
All right.
I just want to get this over with and be done with this.
I'll enter a plea of not guilty. All right, you're all set, Mr. Regalato.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a nice day.
You too. Thank you.
Yep.
No. Almost done, Miss Underwood. How does your dog do, Miss Underwood, with fireworks, or do you have to give her the magic cheese?
She hates them. Hates them with a passion.
So is mine.
She will have her thunder shirt on tonight.
Oh my gosh. You don't give her tramadol or any trazodone or anything?
I don't drug her. She just attaches herself to me.
My dog's already on Prozac, so, but I just turn on Lord of the Rings really loud and turn the lights on in the house, close curtains. She doesn't hear a thing.
Well, we went out last night, and the minute she heard one, she was like, we're going back in. I'm like, no, we have business to do.
That's funny.
My dog won't do the business because they shoot during the day. She won't even go outside.
Oh my gosh. Well, I think it's funny. I have a coon hound. She's not afraid of gunshot, but she doesn't like fireworks, which doesn't make sense.
That's like my lab. I can shoot all I want at my laws. Doesn't bother. Fireworks or fun.
There must be some difference in the.
I think with the shooting.
I understand someone was going down 12 and lighting them and throwing them out the car window.
Yeah.
Downtown Adrian?
Down 12.
Oh, down 12.
Yeah, I came over the radio yesterday and they were shooting out of the while they were driving.
Oh,
Nice.
well, somebody probably almost lost a finger there because that's kind of stupid.
Kentucky license.
That makes more sense. Kentucky license.
So that's what came over the radio.
Explosives and alcohol. What could go wrong?
Well, you know, I watch Detroit news and because you know I'm from that area and instead of Toledo, and Dave Rexroth, who's the weatherman there, actually had a firework incident, lost an eye. No.
And in our neighborhood, we're going off tonight, tomorrow.
Oh, we can.
Yeah. The dog will be freaked out.
Well. Oh, hi. Who do I have from the jail?
This is Maverick, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Dockstader, hold on 1 second. Let me grab your file. Let me grab your file. Okay. So let's see what this means. One second, let me look at something real quick. Chris, is this yours?
It is.
Haida?
It is.
Okay. One second.